Hello, welcome back to hopefully what will be one of the last COVID cooking shows before we move to Grumpy's. Today, I'm going way outside my own comfort zone to make dessert, which I never make. Not only that, I've never made this one before, but I got a pretty good idea. We served this at a restaurant that I had, and we had a chef pâtissier. She made them all. But it's called apple tart tatin. It's a very, very old French dessert. What it amounts to is caramelizing the apples in a pan and then covering them with puff pastry, and we'll put them in the oven. So to start out with, I'm going to create caramel in a heavy gauge pan with a couple of teaspoons of water and 2/3 of a cup of sugar. Come on around. You want to do this pretty slowly because it's pretty easy to burn the sugar. This is 7 Honeycrisp apples. We used to use Granny Smith in the old days, but the recipe that I read said try these, so I'm going to try these. Also a little cinnamon, but that's going to go in later. So I'm going to put in like 4 tablespoons of butter once this has caramelized somewhat. Okay, so this has been cooking about 6 or 7 minutes. Now I'm going to put the butter in. Boy, this is... So now the apples are in. I made a caramel. Now the apples are in. And I'm going to cook these for about 20 minutes. Keep turning them until they're all, until they're softened up and they're coated with the caramel. So we'll be back in about 20 minutes. We're back. This has cooked for about 20 minutes. Now, I had the other smaller pan on there, and the original plan was to cook the apples down and then move them into the other pan. But I've got so many apples here, I'm just gonna leave them in this pan because it's a heavy gauge pan and it can go in the oven. The reason you go through all this is you have to cook the apples down somewhat. Otherwise, they just slop around. You have to cook some of the water out. So you notice how I've got them arranged like that. I also cheated a little bit and I put in a splash of Applejack. I put the cinnamon in, but I told you about that. So the only thing left is Costco. It's Costco wine. Costco Rioja 2015. I think this was, what, $10? $12? Something like that. So I'll tell you what, when I first opened it, it was really tannic. But once it aired out, it was not bad for $12. So Costco strikes again. So now I'm going to put puff pastry on here, put it in the oven, 375 for about 40 minutes, and then that's it. It's going to need to cool down a little bit when it comes out. And this is not going to fit exactly because I was going to use a smaller pan, but it is what it is. So when this comes out, it's going to need to cool down a little bit. There's a hole, but that's okay. Cool down a little bit and let the caramel sort of congeal a little bit, and then I'll flip it over onto a plate. So, in the oven, 375, 20 minutes. Okay, this has been in the oven for 40 minutes. It looks good. We're going to take it out. That's what it's supposed to look like. So now, I'm going to let this cool here for close to an hour. And then I'm going to flip it onto this pan and hopefully everything will come off onto the pan. This has been sitting for an hour. So now we're going to flip it. Everybody say a little prayer that this comes out right. That everything comes out. Oh yeah, baby. Yeah. So, it's a little sloppy, but that's okay. You want to serve it. It's best served warm like this with some vanilla ice cream. So I went to Abbott's. If you live anywhere around Winter Garden, go to Abbott's. Frozen custard, it's the best. So that is apple tart tatin. We'll see you next time. Grumpy out.